Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the pimp slap P.O.D., Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike, money's killers might even make the evening news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Buzz Sports Radio, you know we be pumping!
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Last Call. Here we go. It's Monday. It's a new week. There's new money to be made. We got ourselves a nice little card today, and it's going to be a lot of fun here. Getting excited. We're starting to heat up college basketball, making its final turn towards conference play here and conference tournaments. We're going to cash all over the place come tournament time. We got the NCAA basketball tournament, of course, right around the corner. Cannot wait. We got the NBA now getting back into gear after about a week off with the NBA All-Star game here. We've got definitely the first couple of games underway with them boys here, and the NHL heating up for us here. We're going to get hot on the ice and try to keep it crashing tonight. So excited for the card. Hope everybody had themselves a great weekend. I'm just telling my guy T, I need a weekend from my weekend. It was a lot of fun. And, we got that cash on Saturday. It was a glorious day and a little low-key Sunday, all to get ready for Monday. You got to rest and recharge the batteries and keep the sword sharp, or you can't keep fighting off them dragons. And that's what we're trying to do tonight, is slay that dragon and get this cash. So appreciate everybody joining us here. You guys know the deal. You're just getting in. Hit that thumbs up button for me. Help us grow the channel. We're trying to crack the code. That is this 6 o'clock time slot. A lot of people do it. They're trying to replicate it all over pop-up shows about this last call, this happy hour before games go live, but nobody does it better than us here at Pub Sports Radio. And that's because of all you guys and girls in the chat coming out here, giving your best looks, contributing on the regular as well as we grow this thing that is Pub Sports Radio. We're doing it on the regular. We're doing it better than anybody else, and we continue to be on that winning track and can't wait to get into this week. We're going to stack up cash here. It's going to be a double-digit unit week. I have that feeling here. In the bones, I got it down there, guys. Appreciate you guys. You know, there's three things we ask you to do. Hit that thumbs up button. Show the support if you're cashing with us, if you're making that money, if you're enjoying the content, you just love hearing the angles and trends. Show the support. Hit that thumbs up and help us grow this show, particularly across the 6 p.m. time slot Eastern. Second thing we guys needed to do, grab a pen and paper. You're going to want to write down not just what I share, but everybody in the chat. You already know this chat is sharper and sharper and sharper and sharper by the day. It's awesome to see you guys come in here, spend time hanging out with us and, contributing on the regular. And of course, the third thing we need with you guys is to share your plays in the chat. We want to highlight you guys and the work you're doing as much as what we're doing here live on screen. So it's a group effort. We're all working with the same focus in mind, taking money from the bookies' pockets and putting it in our own here. We've got just a couple more days to earn money for this month and get them bills paid for next month. So we got to get serious here. We got to roll the sleeves up. Matter of fact, I'm going to roll these sleeves up right now. How about that? That's how serious I'm getting. Let's roll. Juan Ruiz, we appreciate you guys. I see the new member. I know he's just renewing out there, but there's my homie Kong's Clips. Can you take a look at this Bethune-Cookman and Mississippi Valley spots for tonight? I'd like them both, but need your input. I will make a note, and when we get there, I will absolutely cover those spots out there. And looking forward to talking about all things sports today, but we will definitely. I took that down. I wrote the note, and just bear with me for 1 second. I finally get this code. I gotta type it in before my link goes bad. There we go. We're rolling now. Back in gear here. Let's get cooking here. And let's see what we have here. EQ says last call. There's my guy Joe T out there. Shout out to you, Joe T in Vegas. Hope you're doing it up nice for your birthday, my guy. Happy birthday to you. I know that's coming up here. So appreciate you still taking the time to drop in, even though you are on some R&R, much deserved as well. He says, let's get that cash. Best bet for Joe T, the Arkansas Pine Bluff, Texas Southern under 150.5. There's our guy, Tori Coker. Says, Money Mike, what's up? He says, I went 3-0 on Jimmy's show with my play of the day. Let's get on a streak on here. That sounds good, Tori Coker. Yeah, man, I'll take a streak with you. Let's go. Brian Watson says, more winners coming again. Let's go, Brian Watson. Always great to see you, my guy. And Joe T says, I also have the Senators Capitals over 6.5 and the Islanders Stars over 6.5. He's in Vegas, living it up, watching Last Call. We appreciate that, my guy. Appreciate you. Brian Watson says, Tori Coker, he's glad for you, showing some shout out, some love for what you're doing. Jay Stone 9 says, NHL, let's go. We got ourselves a nice little slate there. 4 games in the NHL, 4 games in the NBA, and a nice college basketball card as well. The Futon Bet says, Josh Hart, double. You already know Josh Hart, double, man. I think it's 3. I said it earlier today. Is it 3 or 4 times in a row with these guys when the Knicks are a favorite that he's gone off there and gotten that double? So love that look. Futon Bets, I believe it was plus 225 earlier today too. So I hope you got that plus cash there. Brian Watson says Stars over. I'm glad someone agrees with me. Thanks, Joe. Juggler 23 says, let's go Senators and Bruins on the ice. And Justin McKelvey, there he is. Stacks play of the day. Says the Raptors plus 6.5. Our guys cooking, sharing them plays out here, looking to get that money. There's our boy Smoking Trees. It's great to see you. Says first half, UNC -8. Love that spot there. Love that look from our guy Smoking Trees. Winner Circle says, hey, yo, what up, Winner Circle? It's great to see you, my guy. Rocco Rogers says, what's good, crew? Hit that like for the pimp out there. Marcus McCarthy. Dan Kelly up in the house. No reason to move to Florida. Upstate Florida is coming here. Feels nice out there, doesn't it, Dan Kelly? Nice little afternoon today. It was nice to get a couple of lunch tails there, lunch cocktail, and you can hear it. You can hear it as I'm struggling to speak aloud here. Smoking Tree likes that Toronto Pacers game over 244.5. Coins in the house. Jay Stone says should get Edmonton's best effort. Going to be a great game. Edmonton with some time off after this game should smash. I love that look, man. I think that's an insightful look there with the rest on the horizon here. You know they want to get back to them winning ways in Edmonton. Abel A says pimp slap salute. Pimp Mike salute. Let's go, my guy. Smoking Tree likes the Islanders. Dallas under 6.5. And of course, our guy T gets it tight and right. He's telling you guys smash the like button for the pimp out there. 29. What up, Danny? Says salute. And there's our boy, Jay Smooth, 16. Smooth balls. You got to keep him smooth. He's got the POD for us. A&M, Corpus Christi, team total under 82.5. Step back, Jay says, with the pimp. Jay Peasy, my guy out there. What up, Jay Peasy? It's great to see you. My guy says, what up, pimp? RVD 420, what's up? Money making, Mike. And let's go, my guy, RVD 420. It's great to see you as well. The crew is here. We're ready. Bo Jackson's in the house. A salute, pimp. And the low baggers. You all ready? No, it's Pub Sports Radio. Let's go, you guys. It's about that time to get this thing rolling here. Give a couple more shout outs. Chubb Human Gacho. Love seeing that. Director 97 says, have a great birthday, Joe T. Enjoy Vegas. Joseph Gomez in the house. Is anyone with a McNabb and Vic jersey instead of Dawkins and Foles is suspect? Oh, man. Listen, I like offense, not defense. Let's go. That's okay, though. Let's roll. Let's see if we can get in this thing here. Bo Jackson says he did like the Islanders, Raptors, and Grizzlies money line. Lexicon says salute all. And we are on our way. Dana Delp's in the house. Good to see him. He says NC Miami under 156.5. And there's our guy, Jose Sierra. Likes that Lamar +9. I know our guy, Dutch Boy Fresh, love that Lamar +9 as well. NC Central -5.5. And that's how we get this thing rolling. Our guy Cameron's in the chat. Mark Cal, appreciate all you guys coming in here. If you're just getting in, hit that thumbs up for us. Let's get this train rolling. You guys already know. We're going to talk about the NHL. We're going to talk about college basketball. We're going to talk about the NBA. But first and foremost, we got to recap what we did. And this is all the way back on Friday. So a couple of days to kind of sit on this one and stew. But stew we did there. It was 5 and 3 day to get that weekend wrapped up. Probably could have been a little better. Probably could have. I mean, look, we got the Sabres -1. It was a push, right? We didn't lose. We didn't win, but we didn't drop big juice either. So we kept the bankroll kind of intact there. We took that -1 push. Great live bet spots. They were up to +145s and +150s. But it was a push to start the card out. The Jets over 5.5 was not the case. That was a big L. And how about this for college basketball? We won the Cornell game by the hook, -2.5 on a 3 final. We lost the Marist game, -7.5 with a 7-point final. So won a hook, lost a hook. And I hope you guys took it away from there. We talked about that double-digit spot, right? The double-digit road favorite coming in off a win and the double-digit losing home dog out there off that loss. Huge spot to play. You know, Marist didn't get it done. They lost by the hook. Nevada was the late game, though. Nevada, I did mention that on the show. They did get the job done. Atlanta did not get the job done as we move over to the NBA. A -7 was a big L on that thing. And then we finish off solid with a little mini sweep on the closeout of the board. Miami plus 2.5 cash for us. Winners outright. Bucks plus 4 cash for us. Winners outright. Great call, too. I know a bunch of you guys in the chat were aligned on that spot. We talked about it was do or die against them Minnesota Timberwolves. And look, they had to go out there and get that job done. A lot of conversation about Rivers and suspect team and Dame and Giannis and all the parts not fitting together there. And they came out there and they showed that they are starting to heat up at the right time. The Lakers over 240.5. There's another hook. That game ended at 241. So we will take that over. And then we closed out with that plus 2.66 unit, 2-leg same game, or not same game, but 2-leg parlay, right? We had the Wembyana over 2.5 blocks. We had the Aldama over 5.5 rebounds. Aldama got 6 rebounds. And I believe Wemby, I think the final number was 4. I just know he cashed. I didn't see what the actual number was. I believe he got to 4. So Director 97 says, live by the hook or die by the hook. Yeah, I know. Some guys will say that they just buy away from the hook, but I don't know. That just seems like you should be on the other side instead of starting to pay for those points. But, situationally, football, I'm sure I've done it. I'll do it again, I'm sure. But let's roll. Director 97 says, I missed his picks. Shit. Let's go out there and see. Director 97, throw them back in the chat for me, man. Let's highlight what you got going on. I'm not sure how I missed it, but I'm in there as a guest account. So toss them back in, brother. I want to recognize what you got cooking out there. Want to get this cash as well. I know Ricky Bobby says Kansas State, West Virginia, first half under 67.5. Let's go. Let's put the skates on here. We've got a nice little 4-game NHL card. We've got ourselves a nice little 4-game NBA card, and we're going to sandwich in some college basketball in between. So let's get to work. It's time to get this cash. Here we go with this new Monday ahead of us here. And we are going to get this thing kicking off in the NHL as we do on the regular here. And we're going to start right with this first game at 7 p.m. off the hop. The NHL is going out there, and we've got them Ottawa Senators on the road against the Washington Capitals. 90% of the bets, 99% of the cash on Ottawa. And look, Washington's been firing right now. There's no doubt about what's happening with this Washington Capitals spot there. We took a couple of L's trying to fade these guys here. They did win against Tampa 5-3, but they showed their true colors rolling into Florida 2 days later there on that little southern trip, if you will, there down south of Florida. Lost 3-2 to the Florida Panthers. And after coming off of 3 straight wins, Montreal, Jersey, and Tampa, Florida now settling back in at home. But they got the red-hot Ottawa Senators coming into town here. Look, Anton Forsberg's going to start in goal for the Ottawa Senators. He's 11-8. He rocks a 3.08 goals against average, 89.5% save percentage. That's in a serviceable bucket. We all know that's a serviceable goaltender in those types of numbers. But if you look at what he's kind of done as of late, he's let 3 or less goals in 4 straight games. The Senators have gone 4-0 in that stretch, and he's rolling a 91.7% save percentage. In its last 10, Ottawa's 7-2-1. They already beat Washington 6-1. So you can call it a rematch spot. I mean, it is a rematch spot for Washington, but they're going to go with Darcy Kemper, 12-12-3. Here's a bag of shit, 12-12-3 with a 3.16 goals against average and an 89.4% save percentage. Yikes here. The away teams in the NHL, when they're on the first leg of a back-to-back and they're off a win, are 85-34 in those spots. They're winning the game by a goal apiece out there. And I found this little quirky one here with the next up. When you're on the road and you've got the Predators on the road next, you're an away favorite. You're 16-7 in those spots. I do look for the Ottawa Senators to continue to smash in this spot here. Numbers climbing, -120s, -130s, -137s, 134s, 140s, 142s, and continuing to rise. And I believe that's for good cause here. I think, we've got a situation where Kemper's coming in. He sat 3 games out, little 3-game backup situation. They stuffed him in there against Montreal, 28 of 31 saves. So, Washington does have, points in its last 4 games at 3-0-1, but so does Ottawa. I think the better goaltender is going to prevail here. In this case, I'm saying that I can't believe it, but yes, Anton Forsberg, I believe, to be the better goaltender in this game. And that's how we're going to open up the hockey card. We're rolling with the Ottawa Senators. We're going to go with this minus. It's now juicy, though. It's not -120 anymore. I think the best number we can find is this -134. And that's right around the ceiling of points that I would look to spend. I would consider potentially the regulation play in this one, but as long as it's under -140, I still think we're in the wheelhouse of getting this job done. So there's our guy, Director 97. What up? He says, Texas A&M Corpus Christi minus 12.5. Bethune Cookman on the money line. UNC Wilmington minus 8.5. He likes them TCU Horned Frogs money line out there. And he says, Pip Slap, go have a beer on me, bro. Oh, man, I wish I could, Director 97. Appreciate you, my guy. Shout out, respect, and salute you for blessing our action tonight with the dono out there. Bo Jackson says, I swear almost every time I fade the Capitals, those fuckers find a way to win. Bro, I was thinking about the same thing here, but I do. I'm with you. I think this is the Senator spot. I think we're catching them at a nice number, given their kind of, reputation, but they're going to be on the uptick. And the reason we're seeing this number climb is because people are realizing that they're starting to come around. Marcus McCarthy says 90% of the money on Ottawa. Yeah, I see 89%, but and 99% of the money on the money line, but they're moving that number. So, that's kind of the fail safe for us, Marcus McCarthy. Smoking Teresa, Senators is the play. I got it at minus 130. Great job catching that CLV. I got it at minus 120. Like I said, I still endorse it, though. I think it's the right spot here tonight to kick the card off. Let's roll on, guys. We've got this 8 p.m. game. We're going to talk about this New York Islanders Dallas Stars game here. And interesting little ditty that we've got in front of us now. We look at this Islanders team, and it's hard to figure out what to make. Really, it's hard to figure out what to make of both these teams right now. Dallas has been suspect with Ottinger. He's been struggling. He's definitely on the struggle bus. Dallas is 1-4 in their last 5. They just came off a 4-game road trip. And look, we did catch that Carolina-Dallas spot the other day on the 24th. And, that was, what was that, Saturday? Saturday, I caught that spot. But I think we're coming back home. The toughest spot to play after a 4-game road trip is that next game back home. Flip side of things, we've got an Islanders team that's, cagey at best right now. They're 1-4 in their last 5 games, having only beaten the Penguins on the road. It was a 5-4 game. That was an overtime spot. And we've been seeing, kind of the wheels fall off on this team. And I'll tell you what, when I looked at this game and I started looking at the goaltending itself, I see Smoking Trees talks about Sorokin. Yep. 17, 13, and 11 in goal with a 3.14 goals against average and a 90.8% save percentage. Wedgwood, on the other hand, they had to give Ottinger a break. This guy's just, the tread is off the tires. They got to retread those puppies, and they're going to go to Wedgwood at 13, 6, and 4 with a 297 and an 89.9% save percentage. They're both pretty much in the same bucket, but, Sorokin's definitely been getting some mileage out there. 5th start in 6 games. He's not doing it by any, stellar performance, though. 3 or more goals in 3 straight games, 1-1-1 in those spots. He did let 3 goals in on 20 shots his last outing against Tampa Bay. That was a 4-2 spot out there, but he does have the experience against Dallas. The last time he played Dallas, it was a 3-2 overtime win. He stopped 41 of 43 saves against this Dallas Stars team. That's good enough for a 95.3% save percentage. And I think Dallas has got kind of bigger fish to fry in the Western Conference than they have to do in worrying about this Islanders team here. It's the front end of a back-to-back for these guys. Wedgwood hasn't won the game in a month, but 18 of 19 and a 4-1 Ottawa loss, but relief of Ottinger the last time out. And we talk about Sorokin. I think this is a lower scoring game. I think what it comes down to with these two teams here, despite the Stars and their home prowess and what they're doing out there in terms of being able to go capture overs, it's a situation where I just think we're in a spot where we're not going to see a ton of scoring. We got a ton of cash pouring in, by the way, on this over. And what we're seeing is this number start to come down. We've got some 6s out there. We've got the under 6.5 at minus 108. I get it. Guys love this over. It's an over spot. It's been an over spot for this team in a series of past, but they're just, go side by side right now. Dallas Stars, their last 3 games, they scored 2 goals in a win against Carolina, 1 goal in a loss against Ottawa, 1 goal in a loss against the Rangers. They did get 3 against Boston and 3 against Edmonton, but, by team totals, even if they do get 3, we can still get to that under. And then you look on the other side of things here, Islanders 2 goals in their last game against Tampa as a loss, 0 goals. They got shut out against that St. Louis Blues team. And then 5-4 took an overtime to go out there, and a high-powered Pittsburgh team that was trying to fire to get the job done. So I think it's a low. I think it's a buy low spot on this under for this Dallas Stars team. That's going to be play number 2 for the NHL card. Let's see what you guys have to say about that. Let's get rolling. Jay Stone says, Dallas first period tie in regulation. Interesting spot there. He's saying Dallas first period and the tie in regulation. Smoking Trees likes the Sorokin good on unders. EQ says last call. Let's go, EQ. And Coin says awful spot for Dallas here and Colorado on deck tomorrow. Yeah, I would think that they're going to look to use their firepower on the Western Conference teams. They don't need to worry about this Eastern Conference spot for them. They need to stay in the hunt. They need to go out there and beat Dallas. They just need to stay alive in this game and not get shelled. Loopy U2 says, just to let you know, you don't show live on left panel and you are on the bottom instead of near the top. Also, you never make the homepage. That me? I'm not sure what that means. I'll have to evaluate that comment as I give it some thought. Let's go here. Dallas. Second period overs continue to be a wagon, 16 straight. You don't show live red icon in left panel, and you are at the bottom instead of near the top. I don't know what the fuck that means. I don't know if you're talking to me or you're talking to someone in the chat, but maybe T can shine a light on it. T, I'm not sure what that's talking about, but I appreciate you shouting out, Loopy. I'll have to digest that comment and see what's going on. JStone9 says Dallas coming out firing so they can sit. I don't know. They need that Western Conference team, not this Eastern Conference spot. Dana Duff says, I like that under. And Jakov in the chat there says, Philip Grubauer over 25.5 saves. Adrian Kempe over a half a point question mark out there. Jim Orleans says, LOL, no one does. And Jay Peasy says, Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Let's roll, guys, here. We're going to take this under at -108. This is live and red on mine and made the homepage. Yeah, I don't fucking know. Are my eyes red? Is that what you're saying? Let's roll on, you guys. Appreciate you though. I'm just making a joke here. I'll figure it out after show's done, and we'll get going here, guys. Look at 4-game slate. Not going to jump in on them all, right? We're trying to get our best looks for this card here, plays that I'm actually on. I'll just be honest. I had a tough time deciding heads or tails of this Kings and Oilers game. I see the coin flip to me in this game here, probably overtime, right? I mean, fuck it. If you're going to go for something in this game, then why not take a look for overtime? But I'm going to move on to the Boston and Seattle game. And look, we cashed that Boston spot there, Seattle in Boston as of late there. They were, 4-1 final for the Seattle Kraken in Boston. And Seattle has definitely dominated the Boston Bruins. I think they've won every single game against the Bruins on the puck line. So for what that's worth out here, I was looking back at these numbers, though, and I see the -1.5 for the Bruins. Kind of sketchy, very sketchy, in fact, in this spot here. Then I looked at the total. Kind of a sketch ball. It's sitting at 5.5 as well. Boston spent a lot of time on the road trip. So, that to me is of concern right now. This is definitely getting a little bit lengthy for these boys here. This is their fourth game. The 21st, they started against Edmonton. Then they went to Calgary. Then they went to Vancouver. Now they're in Seattle, and this is Seattle's fourth game at home. So, just full disclosure, had a tough time figuring this one out as well. I kind of wanted to take the Kraken on the money line, just knowing the history here. But look, +120 is not enough for me to feel like I want to go try to figure out the spot that Boston's going to lose and not win this game. But I did find a spot that I like here. I'm going to the player prop market for this one. We're going to focus in on one of the top defenders in all of the NHL, in Vince Dunn. You guys know I've said this before. I'm a big proponent of defensive props, specifically because of the way you think of the NHL and the way that they try to keep the offense rolling. Think of it as a big funnel. The puck comes around the outside, back to the point, and then the guys crash the net, and the shot comes firing in there for tipped goals and trying to get that traffic and clog things up. You want your top defenseman, a top power play guy, to be in that position. And we're not looking for goals. We're not looking for guys to win. Look, we got Linus Ullmark in goal for Boston, expected anyways, 16-6-5, with a .272 goals against average and a 91.2% save percentage. The other side of things, we've got Philip Grubauer at 7-9-1, .299, 89.2% save percentage. I don't want to try to pick which one of these two guys isn't going to suck, less than the other, if you will, right? I see Boston's 2-4 in their last 8. Very much struggling. Ullmark, 3 goals on 30 shots in a 3-2 overtime loss to Calgary, and he's been riding the pine ever since. Seattle, they've got Joey Decord in goal, and he's been terrible. In fact, Grubauer had to come in there and get some short rest opportunity out there against a relief effort. 5-2 loss, for that entire Seattle team against the Minnesota Wild. Although I will say this, in that spot for Grubauer, 17 saves on 18 shots. You guys remember we've talked about this. The cold goaltender comes in, doesn't equate to goals. Here's another game where we have a 1-goal game by relief effort and goaltending here. 93.9% save percentage for Grubauer, however. 2-0 since his injury. And, he's been rolling. So, look, Boston isn't that rematch spot, that revenge spot that we talked about, but I just went to the prop spot here. I'm not going to get too cute with it. I don't want to overcomplicate it. I think this is a terrific opportunity at plus 115 money to get this cash out here. Dunn, as I mentioned, top lane guy, top production out there. He put up 10 shots on goal in that Saturday Minnesota Wild game. He's attempted 7.8 shots a game over his past 5 games. We need 2.5 here. We're getting this thing super low. Being priced around that plus 115 range to me is not just a value play, but a great spot. I don't want to figure out which one of these two teams is going to get it done. I'll tell you this, though. The Bruins, as far as being a shot-suppressing team, we know that they used to step into a lot of shots, prevent those pucks from getting even on goal. And I think the difference in this spot here is Hampus Lindholm out of the game. He's going to stay benched out there, and that's going to be an injury to Boston's blue line that is going to prevent those guys from wanting to go down and dive in front of pucks. So you got key injuries on defense. You're not going to go step up and try to take that body and prevent that goal for that shot from getting in. Vince Dunn did score his last game as well, scored 30 seconds into the game out there. He's one of only 13 NHL defenders to get the double-digit goal spot this season. So he's a shooting guy with ample minutes, averaging 7.8 shots a game over his last 5, coming off a 10-shot production at plus 115. Say no more. I could care less who wins this game. I just want to see that shots on goal lamp get lit up for us here. Give me Vince Dunn over 2.5 shots on goal. Let's keep it rolling. Fanatical Jim says, Mike, isn't this the Dallas revenge spot that you talk about? It's not, because of it's a great question, Fanatical Jim. It's that away favorite, off a home favorite loss spot there. So there's a little bit of quirkiness to that Dallas spot that prevents it from being a revenge spot that we've talked about in the past. Loopy says, YouTube not recognizing you live. Understand now, no red live icon next to your channel name. Yeah, we'll have to look into that. We'll look into that after the show then, Loopy. I appreciate you bringing it to our attention. And some of the guys see it, some guys don't. But hey, whatever. Jim Orleans says refresh. I don't know. We'll figure it out, you guys. Loopy says another example of YouTube backfiring. They're firing back. They want to keep us off of winners. You guys know the deal out there. It says YouTube's still not perfect after 20 billion in revenue. Yeah. Let's go. Timmy Tushu says, I have Eberle for a point minus 110 and Luke Dubois a point plus 120 in a crazy ass parlay. Yeah, we're good. Let's keep rolling, you guys. And then Ricky Levine says, pinch slap, Kings plus 140, 4-0 as underdogs the last 4. I don't know how to make of that game there. Like I said, I felt good about the first 2 games. I felt strong about those 2 plays of the 4. And then I love that Vince Dunn spot. So, that's it. That's how we're going to close out the NHL. And we're going to change gears. We're going to shoot on over to the college hardwood and get this thing rolling. We've got ourselves a couple of spots out here as well. Games are popping off at 6:30, but we're not going to touch anything here until we get to that 7 o'clock window. And love the first spot we're going to jump into with college hoops here tonight. So let's get ready to lace them high tops up and go out there and tackle this West Virginia K-State game. We've got this thing starting off here with interesting spots with these line movements tonight. And this one here, frozen line alert. Frozen line alert. We need like a little button, maybe, T. We'll have to get a button that we can push when we get the frozen line. Some stupid horn or something that can pop off. This thing opened at 9.5, and it's sitting at 9.5. 41% of the bets, but 70% of the cash on West Virginia at plus 9.5. 0 movement in the line. I say it again, no movement. The total has opened at 142.5. 61% of the bets. 87% of the cash on the under. It's dropped a point. So we have 141.5. You guys know my deal. I love favorites and I love the unders correlated together here. I love seeing that movement, albeit we're not seeing the movement on the money line. The spread. Hopefully we're getting a better picture of what's happening as a whole between these two with West Virginia and K-State. And, big trend that I'm riding right now with this one here is the Big 12 conference favorites here. You got the favorite facing a team. They were either a road dog or small favorite to the last game out. They're 31-5 in those spots on a 7-game margin against the spread in those numbers. So despite this being almost a double-digit situation, these boys coming back home, big opportunity for them to go out there and get the job done here. I think they do handle it start to finish, wire to wire. K-State definitely had themselves a little lull. They had that 3-game losing streak against BYU, TCU, and then Texas on the road. But they came back home as 2-point favorites against BYU, and that was the revenge rematch spot for them. They kicked their asses, 84-74, laying a 2. Comfortable spot for them here. K-State's got to get things rolling in conference play to continue to remain relevant here. And, albeit they're only, 14-13 against the spread, they are sitting kind of in that top of the bottom third, I guess is how I would define that. But West Virginia is terrible. West Virginia is 0-7 on the road, 4-10 in the conference. There's more for K-State to play for at stake in this one. And when you look at these numbers and they're sporting a 9.5, they're telling you everything you need to know about how this game's going to go down. We're going to follow that 31-5 angle, and we're going to take our K-State there against West Virginia and keep it rolling, you guys. Let's go. I did see the question in the chat there about Bethune and Mississippi Valley. So, in all fairness, I didn't look at either of these games, but if I am, let me take a look here. Bethune-Cookman. This one opened at -3. It's dropped to -2.5. 57% of the bets and 61% of the cash on Bethune, and it's dropped a 0.5 point. So you look at the money line to try to get a better example of what's going on here. Bethune -135 on the money line, 96% of the bets, 98% of the cash. It has moved 10 cents in that direction. So Bethune is now -145. So, kind of looks at early glance there that they're kind of showing a Bethune spot, but, I've made some cash with this Alabama State team, and, they're kind of win one, lose one, struggling with consistency. They were in a real bad funk, though. They went grambling, 74-68 losses, a 1.5-point dog. They lose by 11, getting a 5. They lose to Arkansas Pine Bluff as a favorite at -6.5. They did get Mississippi Valley, as far as this game, and you're looking at it at -15.5. Didn't cover the spread, but they did beat them boys. Mississippi Valley was god-awful, terrible team. They're winless in college basketball, I believe, as a whole. They haven't won in the conference. But then they come back out there on the road against Florida A&M, and they take a 73-65 loss. So I would feel more comfortable going on the Bethune side than Alabama State in this case here. Nothing I'm going official with, but, they're in a situation where they're on their second leg of a back-to-back homestand here. There's a lot of opportunity for them boys to get the job done. It's not my favorite play, but since you're asking, I leaned at Bethune. And then for the Mississippi Valley spot, I do like the points for Mississippi Valley. That almost did make the card. We do have 66% of the bets, 71% of the cash. Line opened at 9. It's down to 8.5. So we do have a little bit of a reverse movement for Prairie View. The total, has dropped from 135.5 down to 134s with a lot of cash coming in on the under. But look, Mississippi Valley, it's not for the weak of heart. 0-27 for this Mississippi Valley team. And you got to really like dogs and taking chances to take that chance there. Not covering spreads. They just didn't cover against Texas Southern. 13.5-point dogs, and they lose by 21 in that spot. But something does tell me that there's a few too many points in this spot for Prairie View to try to be competitive and get the job done there. You look at the conference, Prairie View's only 9-16, in the conference themselves, and they're not too many steps across being a bottom feeder as well. Yeah, the 0-27 Mississippi Valley spot, but Prairie View's 10-17, 6 games back of first place, 5-9 in the conference. I loved asking about that game, and I would definitely put my money on Mississippi Valley than I would on Prairie View. That's a double-digit spot there. You're going to need them boys to win by like 14, 15 points when it's all said and done. And that screams backdoor cover against a bottom-feeding team out there. So let's go. Jugular 23 asks, are you rolling with Baylor or TCU? I can't make up my mind, but let's keep rolling here as we segue in. I got another game we're on before we get to that game here. I'm looking at this Wilmington and Campbell spot. We've got UNC Wilmington, top of the class there, top of the hop when it comes to what's going on in college basketball there. And we've got a Campbell Camels team that kind of a suspect across the board. There's no doubt about that. This is an 8:30. I believe the number's 8:30. Yep, 8:30 Eastern start. 7.5 where the number opened. 39% of the bets, but 57% of the cash on Wilmington. This line shot up to 9.5. It's now starting to see buyback because I kind of looked at the same way here. We're seeing too many points now. Yeah, we got a 2.5 2-point swing from when this thing opened up, but this is the spot that I love to target and take advantage of. We've got 3 straight losses for Campbell. Now they're in a situation where it's their second home game in a row, and I look for the bounce back here. I don't think they're going to win the game. I don't think that's the case at all, but one of the better spread teams across the country. Campbell's 33-21 against the spread as an underdog going back the last 3.5 seasons. So a lot of advantage here on their home court, getting almost 10 points to get the job done here. I love this bounce back spot. These two teams played recently. Of course, this is a rematch situation, but interesting enough, I believe the numbers, let me double check. The numbers were, there it is, laying 14 on their home court was Wilmington against Campbell. It was a 3-point game. They were laying 14 on their home court. It was a 3-point game. So it was a great opportunity out there. They were very reductive or reluctant to turn the ball over in Campbell. They protected the ball very well. They averaged 1.23 points per possession out there on the floor. And as a whole, I think it's a competitive team. They're 9-6 against the spread this season. And again, I just mentioned what happened there on the road. Now they're coming back home in a rematch spot here. I don't think they're going to win the game. I mean, it's cute and all to talk about that, but I think this is a great opportunity to go out there and try to slay this world-beating dragon in your conference. Charleston's got the conference by the ball, so to speak, but UNC Wilmington's right there knocking on the door. They're 1.5 games back, and Campbell's kind of sitting down there in that top of the bottom third again in a situation where they're trying to make some noise in a statement. I like Campbell at plus 9.5 to keep this thing rocking here. We're going to take them points in the rematch spot. Don't think they win it outright, but I certainly wouldn't be mad to see. I could see them being a live dog in that spot. And Nasty Nate says, first half UNC Wilmington for our guy Nasty Nate. Ricky Bobby likes Campbell. Let's go, my guy. Jim Orleans says, hit the like, ladies and gents. Big ups. Let's go, my guy. Loopy says, I guess I was right. YouTube features work only for paying users, my guy. Loopy, come on, baby. $10. We got them horse races going on the regular as well. But anyhow, guys, let's roll on. I'm going to add one more spot to this card here. One more college basketball ad, and it's in that Baylor TCU game. You guys are asking about it. I get it. Shout out to our guy, Dabby Cab. I know he loves this Baylor first half spot. I think it is kind of that stereotypical first half situation where you've got this losing team trying to bounce back now in this situation here. But I just have a sneaky suspicion TCU gets the job done. Now, earlier today at 11 a.m. Eastern, when the sesh popped off, there wasn't any movement. By noon, we did start to see some movement in that Baylor direction. So it's not a frozen line at this case anymore. And it kept me off a side, albeit I do like TCU. This line moved from 3 down to 2.5s and now 2s. 54% of the bets, but only 46% of the cash on TCU. As I mentioned, our guy, Daddy Cab, gave out that Baylor first half on the sesh. I'm looking at the total. Here's the reverse line movement opportunity for us here. 61% of the bets on the over, 59% of the cash on the over, and yet it's dropped 2 points to 146.5. I know everywhere you look, there's a ton of trends showing Baylor should be an over team in this one, but we've got reverse line movement, a big opportunity where if they are going to go out there and get the job done in Baylor, they're going to have to play some lockdown defense and kind of force that TCU team off their spots, which is going to be a challenge on their home court. But a spot that I found that's a little unique and not something you see every day, but it relates to a team whose total scoring margin minus the opponent's scoring margin is a dead zero, right? And it's in the month of February. So late season with two teams that are comparably situated when it comes to their scoring margin. And you got a conference home favorite with a line bigger than minus 1.5 against a ranked opponent, right? So basically it's even scoring late in the season as a conference home favorite, bigger than a 1.5 point favorite. So in those spots, we've got a 3 and 11 to the under, and it's going under by 8 points a game. The average number we're seeing is 135, 136 in terms of 136.1 is the final number that we're seeing, 70.7 to 65.4 in those situations here. And kind of makes sense. Kind of like where I'm seeing with this thing here. I feel like they put a few too many points on this thing. We know Baylor's been a team that certainly can go over in their performances, but here we have an opportunity where we're getting TCU 3-2 to the under in their last 5. And we've got Baylor coming off and over, but 3-2 to the under over their last 5 as well. So I'm going to tail that 3-2 because that margin's so beefy against that number. The average line we're seeing is 143.5, and this thing's sitting there lined at 146.5. So not only do we have an 8-point margin in terms of the victory, we've also got ourselves another almost 4 points on top of that number to get things rolling here. This should be a nice little double-digit cover for us on this total and the under. And I know our guy Jay Peasy loves them under. So that one's for you, Jay Peasy. I appreciate you, my guy. Let's roll on, though. That's going to do it for college basketball. Like I said, we've got Campbell plus 9.5. We've got the under 146.5 in that Baylor TCU spot. And last, of course, but not least here, we did drop in and take a whack with Kansas State minus 9.5. That's a minus 108, by the way. So let's move on to the NBA. Let's get it rolling here. Last spots on the card. Small card, but I like it. I like what I was seeing in the NBA tonight. Couple spots here. First one pops off at 7 p.m. We've got the Raptors and we've got the Pacers. Let me just make a quick note here. I'm going to highlight my action for this TCU spot. 146.5. All right, here we go. We're going to start this NBA card off. We're going to look at this Raptors spot here. The Toronto Raptors, 5.5 is where this line opened. They're playing the Pacers on the road. It's moved up to 6.5, but we're starting to see some movement back in the direction towards the 5. We're starting to see some 6s and now 5.5 on books as well. So pretty good buyback coming in on this Toronto team. I love this number for Toronto. You guys have heard me kind of spot check this Toronto team and saying there's some spots I love to buy on them and other spots I don't. This is a spot where they end up winning this game outright. So 54% of the bets, 79% of the cash on the Raptors. And yeah, we're starting to see that buyback now. So that's the movement. That last kind of U-shaped movement is what we want to see where it comes to bigger bettors coming in, trying to get the best of the number. And they think that 6.5 is it. This total opened at 246.5. It's kind of frozen here. 78% of the bets, 88% of the cash on the over, still sitting at 246.5. So for what it's worth out there, Loopy says Scotty Wedgwood 1-5 in his last 5 and has a 13-10 record. Good old Etobicoke boy. That's right. Let's go out there and get it done. Brian Watson says Jim Orleans, me too. Thanks, because Jim's on the Pacers and the Grizzlies. Oh no, but that's okay. Things happen here. This one's pretty straightforward for me. You got the rested road team versus an unrested home team. That's it. Rest versus non-rest. And it's 47-15 spot against the spread in favor of how you would expect it. Rest. 47-15. It's also 5-0 in its last 5. 7-3 in its last 10. It's the simplest of terms of what you would expect out there. Rest versus non-rest. We know the Pacers just played Dallas yesterday. They had a big win as well, 133-111. A lot of scoring expenditure. Somehow that game stayed under. We know the Pacers were an over team early in the season. The other side of things, though, look at this Toronto Raptors team. 3 straight covers in a row. 2 outrights here, 121-93 against Brooklyn. Then they go on the road where we were dropping that 7 against them in Atlanta, and they got the job done, 123-121 outright. So NBA card game number 1. I'm looking at them Toronto Raptors. I love this point spread here. I think they're probably a live dog as well, but I'm going to start off with Toronto plus 6.5. And we're going to keep it rolling. We're going to keep it moving out there, guys. Throw your plays in the chat. Love to see what else you guys are on. And please hit that like button there. Throw the thumbs up. Show the support. Help us get in this code that is the 6 p.m. slot with YouTube. And let them know we're doing this thing on the regular. Let's roll on to this next game. We're going to talk about a little bit of a let's see what we have here. Is this the ad? I do have one ad. So, yeah, I've got let me see if I've got one ad. Yep, I've got an ad for us here. Before we jump into this game, let's look at 7:30. It's the Pistons, the Detroit Pistons against the New York Knickerbockers and the old short pants at Madison Square Garden. This line opened at 12. It's dropping. We've got a little bit of a reverse line sharp buying opportunity here. 68% of the bets, only 41% of the cash on the Knicks. Bigger public action coming in. They love them home favorite Knicks at Madison Square Garden. But I think the Pistons are real in this game here. We've got ourselves a pretty unique opportunity. Here's another one of those kind of spread trends that I look at. First of all, we've got the bigger money coming in on the Pistons here. They thought 12 is just too many points. Do they win the game outright? Let's be realistic about this thing, right? They're going to go and get the job done outright? Probably not. But how about this little number I found here? Digging deep in the archives. When you got a team that's point shooting efficiency the previous game was greater than 90%, they're in a great buy-on spot right now. 50.6% from the 2-point field goal percentage, 45.2% from the 3. You mash those two together, you got 95.8%. We're looking for something greater than 90. Detroit specifically, this is a Pistons team. Again, you got to dig deep for these kinds of things. But a Detroit Pistons spot where they're over that 90% threshold against the winning team are 14-1. What that number tells me is they shot well, they built a little confidence, and they're getting fired up to go out there and play a winning team. And they're 14-1 in those spots. The margin is 8. They're losing those games. They're losing them 118-114. We got 11 points in our back pocket. We got 11.5 still sitting out there. 11.5 minus 115 over there at BetMGM. I'm going to take a stab at that. Plus 11.5 minus 115 to get this thing rolling. Again, had to dig deep in the archives to come up with that number. But 14-1 is not a spot I want to fuck around with. I'm going to jump in on that thing and tail it. Saw a bunch of spots that say fade the, you would expect it. Fade the Pistons, buy the Knicks, but they're still trying to figure things out there. They're still trying to get back and healthy from injury. Julius Randle's still out. OG Anunoby's still out. Mitchell Robinson's still out. And this Pistons team has a couple things moving in their favor. They made a couple additions or really additions by subtraction at the trade deadline. Cade Cunningham's been firing off on all cylinders as well from a points production. I do like that, Josh Hart double-double. The other spot that I lean to is Simone, right? Simone Fontecchio over 11.5 points, over 12.5 points, whatever that spot happens to be. He's been a machine out there getting those points. And if you listen to the session earlier today, I gave out a little parlay involving him. But, I like this Detroit spot. I'm adding Detroit plus 11.5. I know nobody likes that spot, which makes me like it even more. Let's roll. Loopy says, Mike, you look like you're part of the Broncos coaching staff. Man, I don't know. I'm not a Broncos guy, but I do like to fade him. So EQ says, last call. Philly Eagle Flyer, one of the best names in the business, likes that Stars over 1.5 goals in the second period. Caps Oilers over 5.5 plus 274. Looks like 3 legs out there for our guy. And then Loopy U2 says Dallas over 3.5 team total. That's interesting. So I'm looking at that under. I saw a couple of you guys in the chat on that under as well. Kong's Clip says that 11.5 is minus 112 on FanDuel. Even better out there. Our guy line shopping for us. We want to keep it official, keep things on the real and legit there. Let's close this card out. We're going to look at this 10 p.m. game. Kind of interesting. If you look at the strategy for how I bet this card tonight, I only got a player prop in hockey. I didn't love the card for the late night spot. I've got the under in that TCU Baylor spot. That's going to be a later night game. And then I went to this 10 p.m. spot as well. The Heat and the Kings here. We open at plus 8. We have 60% of the bets, 66% of the cash. The Heat line is coming all the way down to 6.5. So we went from 8 to 6.5 with the money coming in on the Heat. Then the total is where we're going to focus here. 227 has dropped to 225s and now 224s out there in some spots. 52% of the bets, 89% of the cash on this under. And we've got 225, but it's Caesars. So we don't even need to look. We know Caesars is slow to update their shit. We have 224.5s everywhere. And now PointsBet is hanging at 224. So we are on our way down. You're going to want to buy this one while it's hot. 224.5. Look, probably one of my favorite spots on the card. Intersecting zero opportunity. You guys and girls know I love those spots here. The last game out, Kings beat the Clippers by 16. Right back at it. The 15-0-1 to the under when there's no rest, coming off a 13 or greater point win out there, and the opponent has less than 7 days rest. So an unrested spot actually playing to the under, contrary to what you would expect, where we know those unrested spots tend to see tired legs in the second half, but not for the Kings. That's enough to keep me off the Kings, by the way. The fact that they are playing defense, but that second half, I think, makes the Heat a live dog if for some reason the Heat are struggling in that first half. Then we look on the other side of things here in the Miami Heat, 8-0 to the under going back to June of 23 when they allowed less than 100 points the previous game. When they're playing defense and keeping their opponents off their shooting lanes and marks, that carries over for them. We expect defenses to carry over. Those are the numbers that correlate on both sides of this game. It's intersecting zeros at under 224.5. We wanted to get real tight with this NBA. We want to make sure all the boxes are checked. We've got our trends. We've got our correlated line movement opportunities. We've got the cash coming in where we want it to be. I'm going to lock down Miami under 224.5 to close out the NBA card out there. And that's going to do it, you guys. Last call here on Monday, February 26th. Kelly D in the chat says Sacramento -2 teaser piece. Harrell might be out. Butler out. Maybe team total under for Miami. Not a Terry Rozier fan at all. Loopy U2 says went down because Butler's out. Yeah, I expect that. But why would it be moving down I would think if it's gone from 8 to 7s, why if Butler's out, +7, +8 to +7 doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. So I'm not sure, but I'm just going to go down to the numbers on that one. Cameron Sinnett says, I took Cade Cunningham points, rebounds, and assists over 32.5 at -105. That's a great number, my guy. Blue Number says, I get it. Kelly V says the Islanders +136 money line. Sprinkle on the Islanders in regulation. And Loopy U2 says the colors you're wearing. I got you. I know. I figured that when you said it. I was looking and I said, oh yeah, I get it. Let's roll out there. Kong's Clips got me that best number out there. Appreciate my guy. Billy Eagle Fire EQ. Steve Bailey on the Knicks over 223.5. Brian Watson, you guys rock, man. Thank you for coming in and hanging out on your way out the door. Smash that thumbs up for us here. Help us continue to promote the brand and grow the show. Juggler 23, Jared TG, Joe T out there in Vegas, my guy. Happy birthday and have yourself a great, profitable trip out there in Vegas. Brett Cook says Baylor has an injury, and the Futon Bets likes that TCU money line as well, guys. Good luck with your bets tonight. Shout out my guy, my partner in crime here on the 1s and 2s and T. And we'll see you guys back here tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m., Pub Sports Radio. Turn your notifications on when we go live. You will get in the know. Become a member. It's $9.99 a month. You get member exclusives. The red light goes on YouTube for members, as we learned tonight. You get discounts on the merch store. We got all kinds of new merch going out there. Get yourself all dialed up for Pubapalooza. Get yourself some discounts on Pub Rub. And, of course, the horse race in there. Tuesdays now. It's Tuesdays and Fridays with Jimmy the Bag and Pete Loshak on Tuesdays. Jimmy the Bag and Jose Ramon, Reverse Sweep Ramon, Stake Bet Ramon Bouquet on Fridays out there, guys. Good luck, good betting. Stay pubbing. Get that cash, baby. See you guys tomorrow.